There's some incredible TV coming out of the UK right now. Brits just do it differently. The accents, the wit, the scenery, the devastating one-liners disguised as compliments. It's all streaming on BritBox. They have the best mysteries, dramas, comedies, and seriously addicting originals like Outrageous, based on the true story of the Mitford sisters. They were kind of like the Kardashians of the 1930s, wealthy, audacious, chaotic, wildly opinionated, and always making headlines. And chances are you've never heard their story. It's stunning. It's jaw-dropping. It's very British. So check out Outrageous. It could be your next favorite. Don't miss Outrageous, streaming now only on BritBox.
Let's Talk with Heather Dubrow starts now. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I'm sorry I missed you all last week. I am so exhausted. I don't know about any of you, especially my mom friends out there. This is what happens when you're a mother. I just want to explain this. All school year, you're like, oh, this school, this whole, the carpooling and the after school activities and the homework, and it's such a drag. I can't wait for summer. And then I'm going to tell you the universal FU, summer actually arrives. And you know what? They're not scheduled. They're driving me crazy. These camps are only 3 hours. When does school start again? That is what mothers do all year round. Anyway, so we're like in the end of the school year and all my kids are at different phases. So Nikki is done with school and he's now working. He has an internship in hospitality at this very cool group and loving it. So he's doing that. Max is working at a law firm downtown and she's loving that. And Kat is doing nothing because she just graduated, which I will tell you about. She's doing nothing. And then Ace is still in school.
Is it okay for kids to do nothing these days?
I think when you work your ass off for all these years and you get into college or wherever it is, whether it's, community college, a 4-year college, an Ivy League college, you're going to the Marines, you go like wherever you're going into, these kids work their asses off for their next steps, or even if they're going right into the workforce. It's time for them to have a moment because I'm going to tell you why. This is it. This is the last moment because if you're going into, we'll use the 4-year college as an example. In between your freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, you're expected to do something. Get an internship. Do this, do that, take extra classes. You're expected to do things. There's no more summer off. That's not a thing anymore. And if you're going right into the workforce, then you're done. Now you're a worker, right? You don't get a summer off anymore. So, and if you're going into the military, you're being deployed at a certain time or going to boot camp, if I'm calling these things correctly, you're going to do, but there's, this is it. This is the last time these kids get to relax. And I am all here for it. I don't think they should be doing anything other than going to the beach, hanging out with their friends, sleeping in. Why not? So anyway, Ace is he still has a couple more days of school and then he's, unleashed for the summer and we'll see what's going to go on there. But, I wanted to tell you about Kat's graduation. It's interesting because we only moved back to LA a couple of years ago. So she's only been at this school for 2 years, but I have to say, she's made such incredible friends and connections. And when she had the prom a few weeks ago, we did a pre-prom party and, lots of kids were there and their parents. And it's just, I cannot tell you what a lovely group this is. All very different, very diverse group of kids and just like great kids. And it's just been fun getting to know them in this, in the 11th hour of her high school experience. But anyway, so what happened was my mom and my aunt and my uncle all came in. Graduation was on Friday morning. So they came in Thursday and we went out and we had a meal. And then Friday was the day and poor Kat got so sick. I mean, not to be TMI, and she will kill me for telling this story, so do not use this as a clip, Steve, but
Okay.
like OBE, like sick, out both. I mean, bad. She was so sick all night. And I was like, oh my God, how is she ever going to walk in graduation? She obviously had food poisoning because it was a definite like 12-hour thing. But man, this poor child, we're giving her electrolytes and things. And, she was poor, my poor child. Anyway.
What meal did she consume with the family where she contracted food?
She wasn't with us. We had dinner with the elders, as my son Nicky calls them. We had dinner with the elders alone and not with the kids because they were about to have a lot of family time. And, you have to know your limits with your children. So we didn't do that. So we went out with them alone. She was out with friends somewhere, and I think it was a sushi place. And it could have been an all-you-can-eat sushi place. But she rallied. So she gets up. I wake her up at 5:45 in the morning. She had to be there at 8 o'clock. And she wanted to get her hair blown dry. And of course, she was so sick the night before that I don't even know if she could lift a blow dryer. And she was scared to eat. So she wasn't eating anything. And she was just sipping Gatorade. And so the hairdresser came over. I woke her up at 5:45, went to the upstairs apartment. She was sitting getting her hair done. And she says to me, oh, I didn't have time to bedazzle my cap. Now, I didn't know they did this in high school. In college, when I graduated college, we all put things on our caps because I graduated from Syracuse and it was so huge that you wanted your family to be able to find you in the stands. So they would look down on all the graduates and they could see on your cap, your name, your something, whatever it was. So it was really fun to do, but I didn't know high school kids did this. So it's now 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, okay. So I sat there while she got her hair blown dry and I bedazzled her. I was totally happy to do it. I would have preferred not doing it at 6 a.m., but I was totally happy to do it. And I didn't have any of the right tools with me. And I posted it and people started saying to me, you need a candle because you take these little like rhinestones and you have to dip them in the glue or put the glue on the cap and then pick up the rhinestone and stick it in the glue. So usually if you have a piece of wax or a crayon or a candle, it's easy. You just touch the rhinestone and you can transfer it. I did not have any of that. I had one big fat candle and it didn't work. I tried to cut a piece off the candle. That didn't work. So I literally just stuck my finger on the glue and went, it was a mess, but it looked good.
Had you ever bedazzled something before?
Oh, yeah, I have 4 kids. Of course I've bedazzled. I've done everything. I've made poster boards. I've bedazzled. I've sewn costumes. I've done makeup. I've done hair. I remember the one time Max said to me, can you make my hair look like a bow, like her actual hair? And I was like, okay. Thankfully, YouTube was around then. And so I looked it up and watched a video and was like, okay, here we go. And did that for her.
Thanks, Mom.
And yeah. But it's funny when you do stuff like that, you feel so accomplished. You really feel like, you've done right. So anyway, and it made me happy just to hang out with Kat. So while she was getting her hair done and distract her a little bit, make sure she's feeling okay. So I bedazzled the thing. She had her hair blown dry and man, did she rally. She put her dress on and all of a sudden she looked like $1 million. And I don't know if you remember me telling the story, but the night before. So she's sick. She doesn't have a dress. She needs a white dress. All the girls are wearing white dresses. I've been asking her about this for weeks. She said she had a dress, but now she said that dress doesn't fit properly. So now I ran to Nordstrom, bought 2 different dresses, ran back. Anyway, she ended up wearing the original dress she had, as one does. And she looked fantastic. She slapped on her makeup and got herself together and she just looked terrific. So she went over to the school. They had to be there earlier. So they went over at, they had to be there at 8 and it started at 10. And so, the rest of us got dressed, went over there and they do this thing with parents. So they have tents everywhere for heat, to cover the sun, except in the middle, because if you put a tent over the middle, then you can't see the stage. The problem is all the graduates and the parents, because they save seats just for the parents, are in the sun. So we we went and found our seats, and they were, I mean, literally behind the tallest people ever humanly created. There was no seeing anyone. So I said, forget it. And we sat over at one of the side tents with our other kids and the elders. And we sat over there in the shade, which was so much nicer. We actually kind of had a perfect view, probably 10 rows back, but you could see right to the corner. It was great. So we sat there and, I couldn't believe she survived, especially it was like 80 degrees. It was so hot in the sun, but she survived. And then, the people spoke and people played music and did performances, and the head of school spoke and all those things. I thought I was going to be a lot more emotional than I was, because leading up to the graduation, every time I thought about it, I would start to cry. Like I couldn't even talk about it without crying. But I didn't feel like that while I was sitting there. I just felt just really proud of her. And just, I don't know, it was just like a nice day. Like the whole weekend was so easy and nice. Yeah. It was just great. So she walked, she graduated, we took pictures afterwards. And it's funny, and I've told you guys this before, like all my kids are so different, and she doesn't like a big hoopla. Like there were some families there that had the kids' faces on popsicle sticks, enlarged so that they could raise them up or use them as a mask. That's cute. Did that. I did that for Max and Nikki. I did not do that for Kat because I knew she'd hate that.
Okay.
So you have to know your audience, in this respect. So I didn't do that for her, but
what if we did that for you every week when you show up to do the podcast? We just had Heather Dubrow faces on sticks just to cheer you on behind the glass every time you were doing an episode.
I would love that. I think that would be epic.
Oh, I just dug myself a hole in the.
Why have you never done that before, Steve?
Sorry.
Okay, Steve, come on, get to work. It's your new job. You gotta make those every week.
I bought her a lei. Did we talk about the leis already?
No.
So when you graduate from anything in California, I don't know if this is a Los Angeles thing or just a California thing. People wear leis. So I am from New York. I didn't know about this. And I remember when the twins were graduating 8th grade, I got them leis. And I remember I told Max, I'm going to get you a lei. She's like, don't do that. No one's going to get that. And I went, okay. So I bought it anyway because I'm not stupid. And we were sitting in the audience of the 8th grade graduation, and Max texted me and goes, did you get me a lei? And I was like, yes. Why? She's like, could you bring it back here? Because all the other kids had leis. Thank you. I thought, what's the worst case scenario? I'll give it to another child.
Let's Talk is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedies, celebrity interviews, news, or even motivational speakers, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue, right? And guess what? Now you can call the shots on your auto insurance too. Enter the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. The Name Your Price tool puts you in charge of your auto insurance by working just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, then they'll show you a variety of coverages that fit within your budget, giving you options. Now that's something you want to press play on all day. It's easy to start a quote, and you'll be able to choose the best option for you fast. It's just one of the many ways you can save with Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com to try the Name Your Price tool for yourself and join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Companies and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Anyway, so when it came to Kat, I bought the lei. And I just kept it on the side. And as it turned out, the school bought all the kids leis, but they were kind of like smally ones. So the school was like kind of bigger and nicer. Anyway, I gave it to her afterwards. But I have to say, when they walked in, the only time I got emotional, and I'll get emotional saying it now, is when they play, what is it called? Pomp and Circumstance? Is that the name of the graduation music?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and see, I'm going to cry. They start playing that and they all start walking. And as soon as I see Kat, I lose it.
Heather Dubrow is currently losing it for those who cannot see her right now listening to this podcast.
Yeah. And then
He's picturing it.
I saw, because it was so sweet. And like, she's such a good kid. She's worked so hard. Anyway, so then she goes to sit down and then I was fine. And then I was totally like, just good, happy. And then what was really funny is that the other 5 of us in the family were on a group chat, basically shit talking everything that happened at the graduation for the rest. It was so funny. Anyway, I didn't want Kat. I'm glad I didn't make it. I think Max made it, but she didn't put Kat on it, which I was glad because I didn't want her to be upset when she saw it. But it was really funny. Anyway, so we got through the whole ceremony. We took pictures and I gave her the chunkier lei. And she was so happy. It was so cute. And then we went over to the Bel Air Hotel. And that's where I had planned her lunch. And I it was just like one little thing right when we walked into the table is they had the cake there and there were other families from the school that were doing their lunch there. But if you could imagine me setting up a graduation lunch, there was a beautiful tablecloth. I had the chairs changed out. There was flowers on the table. There was all kinds of special things. And then the cake was there and she was like freaking out. Like she got embarrassed for a second. She's like, oh my God, Mom, this is too much. It's too much. I'm like, it's going to be fine. And I just walked over to go, can you take the cake away, please, and bring it back later? So they took the cake away and we sat down and she was totally fine. And she thanked me and she thanked me later. She loved it because it was pretty simple. I didn't go crazy. Like when Max and Nikki graduated, high school, we did a big to do. I mean, there was a photo op and a thing, even though it was just the family, like I kind of went over the top. But with Kat, again, know your audience. It was at the Bel Air Hotel in their outdoor area. And it really just looked like a pretty tablescape. You know what I mean? It was just really beautiful. I'll post pictures. I did, but I'll repost them. But just pretty flowers and tablecloth and all that. And so I wanted to do something special for her instead of just putting the menu on the table. So what we did was, because she's a filmmaker and a film student, remember the old fashioned looking scripts?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what they look like, it's basically an 8x10 stack of papers that are connected. They have three holes.
Hole punch. Yeah.
And then they take these gold fasteners. They're called brads. And they're like a circle with a point, and you push it through the hole and you bend the points when you get through the paper and it holds it together. So instead of binding a book, you use these fasteners, these brads. So what we did was we did that and we made it look like a script. So on the front, it was like Kat's graduation. We put the date at the bottom as if, that was the date the script was written. And then when you got to the first page, it said cast. It said characters, cast. It said cast.
Yeah.
To go back and look, it said cast, and it had all of us, whoever was there, and what their role was, grandmother, mother, all that. And then in the body of it, first there was the menu, and then there was notes from everyone. Like it was all interspersed. It wasn't kind of in a row, but interspersed in this full script. There were notes from everyone at the lunch. There was a note from her film teacher. There were photos of her. At the end of each note, there were specific, like at the end of my note, there were pictures of me and her together. The end of, Nikki's note, there were pictures of Nikki and her together. And then other pages had, pictures of her growing up and different phases of her life, her musical theater phase and her penguin phase and her Save the Hector Dolphin phase and all of her different things. And pictures of movie posters that are like her favorite movies and, all kinds of things like that. So it made it really personal, but quiet, not over the top.
I love that. That's a great idea.
Did she put any red lines through the script at any point in time?
She did not. And I put in a few pages from different scripts that she had written.
Oh, that's cute.
Also interspersed. And then on each script were 3 pencils tied together with everyone's names on them. So that was like your seating card. Because usually you'd have a pencil when you sit down at a table read, for all of you that you don't know. When you do like, let's say a sitcom, you get there the first day and you all sit around a huge table, or they put tables together in a U shape and everyone sits there and there's a script and a pencil and you read the script. Writers are there, the network's there, the actors are there, and you read the script, the whole thing. Someone reads the stage directions, and you read it as if you're performing it. And that's how they get their first round of notes and whatever. So while you're doing the script, you take your pencil and you make notes to yourself so that you can remember later. And so I had pencils with everyone's name. Actually, here's one right now. I was just using it.
Oh, what's your name on it?
Pencil.
Heather Dubrow. Yeah. So it's like a fun keepsake. I love when the place cards could be something someone could take home. And the script was fun. So like, oh my God, like 10 minutes into the lunch, Kat was like, I don't know, Mom. I don't know if I can sit here and eat. I go, listen, you made it through graduation. That was the important part. If you don't feel well, go. But she rallied. She was great. And she was so cute and so thankful. And we just gave a, quick toast. Because again, know your audience. And I have to say, everyone was on their A game. Everyone at the table was great. Everyone was fun and lively and happy to be there. Service was odd that day. Other than that, it was kind of perfect. Then they brought the cake out at the end, and I did a cake. So Kat's so funny. When Kat loves cake. And there was a place in Dana Point down by where we used to live called All About the Cake. They make the best cakes. Not sponsored. Highly recommend getting a cake from that. That's
where we went for our cake, actually, for our wedding.
You did?
Yeah, we went to that same spot. That's actually their catering.
Did you do a cake tasting?
Yes, we drove down like a month or two ago. They had some great options down there.
They have the best cake, but here's the best part. I mean, their cake is phenomenal. When you do a cake tasting for a wedding, you sit there and they basically bring out chunks of cake, like cubes, red velvet, vanilla, chocolate, marble, whatever it is. And then they have all kinds of fillings and all kinds of fondant, frostings, whatever. And they take a fork and they go, what do you like? You go, oh, I'm a chocolate person. They go, great. So they stick the fork in the white cube and then they go chocolate and buttercream, and they go, try this. Okay, I like this, not that. Okay, great. And you sit there for 2 hours and you taste everything. And it's so fun. Katerina loves this process so much. Every year for her birthday, when we lived in Orange County, we would get her cake from there. Every year we'd go in, they would let her do a full cake tasting. And 100 out of 100% of the time, she chose the same cake and the same flavor. Vanilla cake, white cake with lemon curd. Wait, what is it? Lemon curd and
verbena?
Yes. What's verbena? Is verbena lemon?
Yeah, it's a lemon verbena. It's a plant.
Yeah, it's like a lemon verbena curd situation. And there's something else in there, a white. I don't know why I'm totally forgetting, but she always picks the same thing. And I love it for her. And so I've had so many cakes made by All About the Cake because after someone broke the bow off the cake, I needed a new place. So we started going there and that's where we've always gone. Anyway, so I got a company in LA to do it. And I have to say they did a gorgeous, gorgeous job. It wasn't the same as All About the Cake, but it was beautiful. And they did a great job. And they did that flavor that she loves. And it's going to bug me that I can't think of the flavor now. But anyway, it's lemon and vanilla, basically. And so I had them do a film canister with film, like old fashioned film, wrapped around the cake. It was super cool. And it was so great. Everyone gave her presents and she was just, it was just phenomenal. I can't tell you how lovely it was. And then the next day, it was just nice outside and it was so funny. So my mom and aunt came over and my mom used to be a designer years ago. They had a business together, but my mom hasn't done it in years. My aunt is still a big designer in New York. And I go, listen, I want you to come over and see the curtains I just did because I'm redoing my great room. I go, but I just want to tell you something. I don't care if you like them. All you're going to do is you're going to come over and you're going to say how great they are because they were a fortune and I love them and it's done. So I don't want to hear about it. And they were both like, of course. And they were great. They came over and I actually really think they did like it.
Good on you for setting boundaries there, Heather. The expectations are you're going to like it and they delivered on it. Kudos to you.
Well, I will tell you, full disclosure, in the past, I would have liked to set my mother up for failure and be passive aggressive about it and just assume she was going to hate them and fight with her about it later. But I would really like to think that I am evolving as a person. And so I was very proud of myself. I did set boundaries. They did come over. They loved my curtains and my new game table that I'm obsessed with from this Italian company that they flew over and put together. And it's so modern and cool. And I love it. I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a big reveal on social.
What kind of games? Like a legit game table or?
I always have a game table in my house. Sometimes it's in our like primary bedroom. Sometimes it's in the living room, but we always have a game table. This one, you can flip the top. It's really cool. It's like, it's glass and leather and suede. And the top is backgammon, but you can flip it for a checkers chess vibe.
Oh, cool. I literally just learned how to play backgammon this past weekend.
It's the best.
It's really kind of, you got to be relatively good at math and planning ahead, I think. But
it's a great game. And I taught Ace. Now he kicks my ass. I can't even play him anymore. He gammoned me the other day. He's too good. Yeah. So anyway, so they came over, they saw everything I showed, and then I was emboldened by how much they liked my curtains. So I went so far as to show them the swatches of everything else that's coming in. And they liked it. So we did that. And then that night we had a dinner at Craig's and my sister and her husband and her two boys were there also. So it was like the whole family. I mean, not my cousins and stuff, but my family that's in California. So we all went to Craig's and it was, I mean, I know I keep saying great, but I have to tell you, it was just lovely. Like it just all worked. Everyone was happy. Everyone, because families are complicated and sometimes someone's not in a good mood or someone's this or someone's that. But it was just a beautiful weekend. I think my take home is, look, I know I've said this before, but sometimes you get great events like this and sometimes you don't. And that's why when it's really good and it works, you have got to embrace it. You've got to celebrate it. But I want to give some advice. And this is for my producers, Steve and Gabby as well, because they're both about to get married. Steve in particular this weekend.
Yes. As she waves a pencil at us over Zoom right now.
Waving a pencil. Listen to me. Things are going to go wrong at these events. The flowers are the wrong color or the table's not ready or someone's super sick the night before, or God forbid at the wedding. But I mean, like things happen and it's okay because it all just becomes part of the story. And you have to remember what the event is actually about. That's why I said to Kat, like, of course, I'm glad she stayed for the whole lunch and I'm glad she felt better. But if she had to go, the important part of this day was her experiencing her graduation walk, right? As her parent, I got to experience watching her do that. But having a lunch or a celebration, whatever, that's icing on the cake, right? That's not really the purpose. The purpose is that experience of why you're there. So you have to know that things are going to happen and you got to roll with them and you have to let it go and not let it upset you. You can plan as much as you want, but there's just, shit happens and you can't plan everything. And you should tell your fiance that, Steve.
I do have to say something because I feel like the last couple family things you've had, and they have gone relatively well, if not very well. I feel like you've mastered some sort of family to solo time ratio out. And I think that's really the trick. So do you know what the balance is of like, this is when we all hang out and then like everybody go away to your hotel room or your room and then let's come back. You know what I mean?
You are very good at time management, Heather.
I am good at time management. And I also know the personalities I'm dealing with, right? So if it's just our nuclear family, maybe that's the best way to set this up. With our nuclear family, I know, if we're going on a trip for 5 nights, I do not expect everyone to go out to dinner 5 nights in a row. If they want to come, great. But if they don't, that's okay too. Now, if you're at a particular place, like when Nikki and Ace and Terry and I went to Courchevel, they came out every night with us. We had a great time. But if it's the six of us, and let's say it's a beach vacation or something, like, or maybe you're going to do like a big lunch out or something like that. I don't expect 2 big meals all together. I just try to look at the schedule and see what makes sense. The other thing I do, honestly, is if we're on a vacation, I make a reservation for everyone and I adjust it accordingly. And I don't make everyone go to something if they don't want to. But when it comes to events like this, you're right. I planned it out. So we had Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. And I have the 3 elders in town. So Thursday night, Terry and I went out with the elders. Now, as it turned out, Nikki came with us, but he didn't have to. He was not obligated, but he decided to come with us. So we went out Thursday night. Friday was the graduation, which was a morning event, and we all had lunch together. So I told everyone to do their own thing for Friday night because that would have been too much.
Did you do anything in the morning together though?
It was the graduation.
Well, like did you guys like meet up and carpool together? Or did you guys all meet at the?
I had 2 separate cars, but we had to leave they had to leave their hotel and I had to leave the house at 8:10. So it wasn't like, let's meet at 7 a.m. for coffee like that, and I was getting Kat ready and bedazzling and getting myself ready. And so no, but I mean, that's the beginning of the day. So 8:15, we were in the cars and we were together till lunch was over at like 3:00. So it was like a nice long day. Cut your losses, people. We're not seeing each other tonight. You go do your thing. We're going to do our thing. And that was enough. And then the next day I knew we had this big dinner Saturday night. So I did not plan a lunch. My uncle wanted to sit out by the pool. Terry was at the gym. Nikki went, everyone did their own thing. I hung out with my mom and aunt for a bit, talked about curtains, spent a little time with them, but they were happy doing their own thing, going here, there, whatever. And then we met up that night. It is about that balance.
Would you say your family, like your elders, the kids, everything, are they all pretty individual people or kind of dependent a little bit? Like they're fine going to do a thing on their own. It sounds like obviously like Terry and your aunt and your mom are kind of in that boat. But
yeah, everyone's fine. Everyone's fine doing something on their own for sure. Hi, honey. Hi. So Terry's here. I can't tell you where he just came back from, but it's very exciting, and we'll tell you, I don't know, soon. But we're going on a very exciting trip that we'll tell you about when we get back.
I'm a bit concerned about it. There's reasons to be concerned.
There are, but I think it's going to go great. And why did I bring up the trip? Because how they were saying they're commending me on how I schedule the family so that it's not too much togetherness. You know what I mean? So that people don't start getting irritated. So anyway, so we are going on Saturday on this trip. And so we're going out with the kids on Friday night, and it will serve one of 2 purposes. Either it's so great, and we had this really great moment with them before we go, or they'll be so irritating. We're just going to be so happy.
We won't miss them.
Yeah.
Oh, hi guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
We have to leave at 5:15.
She just dismissed me.
So yeah, so the graduation was fantastic. Kat's feeling much better. And she's bumming around this summer. And then this past Sunday, and then Terry and I had to fly to Idaho for a night because, we've got some holdings in Idaho. So we had to fly up to Idaho. We literally spent 24 hours in Idaho. It was so fun though. And the Bellows were there and there was a barbecue and it was Memorial Day. It was great. And Ace came with us and brought a friend. So it was so fun. We had a great time.
Heather, how do you feel about lake activities, like going out on the boat on a lake and like wakeboarding, tubing, water skiing?
Yeah, I like it. I've done those things. I'm sort of, I'm in the stage of my life where I don't want to get hurt. And so every summer I'm torn. I don't want my kids to not see me as someone that does things because I've done it all with them, surfing and swimming and zip lining and like all the things. But now I don't really want to do those things anymore. And I wrestle with, I don't want them to think of me as someone that just sits on the boat, but honestly, I don't want to do it anymore. So I kind of sit on the boat and drink champagne, and they go wake surfing and whatnot. It's fun though. I love it. The lake is gorgeous. I love it. It's so pretty there. The air is so nice.
I would say though, I think doing a boat activity like that, like being towed behind the boat, is probably one of the safer activities, because like
but then they fuck with you on the boat, and then they fly off the floaty, and I've been down this.
You can just let go. You can just let go and then sink into the water.
Then I'm in the water. I don't know. Then a boat runs over me. God forbid. Anyway, so I know we're going to run out of time. So I wanted to tell you about Pride.
Yes.
Pride was fabulous. This was my first time ever being at the West Hollywood Pride Parade. And it was a blast. Oh my gosh. Sutton Stracke and I, we rode together. It was so funny. We had so much fun. We laughed so much. She had contacted me a while ago and asked if I wanted to ride. She's got this Ford pickup truck. So cute. She's like, we'll ride in the back. I'll put a bench there. It'll be great. And I was like, all right, great. So, I've been working with the Trevor Project a lot. And I said, can we, honor the Trevor Project? And she said, absolutely. And she's got her brand, Sutton Brands. And by the way, if you want to go shop on Sutton Brands, you can go to Sutton Stracke's Instagram, and there's a link there. We'll try to get a link to put up. And proceeds are going to the Trevor Project this month. And she made some really great Pride merch. So anyway, we agreed to do this thing. I bought a dress online, this rainbow, crazy dress. It was so cute. Threw on some sneakers, and Sutton picked me up, and we got in the pickup truck. It was so funny. I mean, first of all, it was so hot outside. Oh my Lord, so hot. And so we had to wait on a side street for, 45 minutes so we could get going, because they line up the cars and it's quite an operation they have going on for Pride. I mean,
how early in the day did you have to get there?
Not that early. The parade started at noon, and we were there by like 11:30, but we didn't get going in our car. We were sitting there till probably 12:45, because there's 115 vehicles, floats, attractions in the parade.
Oh, wow.
And we were 71.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. You had to wait.
Yes, we had to wait, but it was fun. I mean, yeah. United Airlines was lined up next to us, ready to go. Mattel, the toy company, was lined up behind us. There was this great organization, Free Mom Hugs, that are just like a group of moms that will just give people hugs that, don't have support. It was
that's really
sweet and so beautiful. And so anyway, and she got me a tiara. Sutton got me like a love tiara, which is so nice. And then we got in the thing and we started moving finally. We were about to turn on Santa Monica Boulevard to get into the parade. And Sutton has to go to the bathroom. And there's this like line of porta potties. And she has to now hop out of the back of the truck, be lifted out, run across the street, get in the porta potty. I totally filmed the whole thing. And, and come back. And she did that. I was cameling out, total camel. I was not peeing, because once you break the seal, you're screwed. So anyway, I was in the back of the truck, and we rode in the parade. And I bought 1,000 orange beads, because that's the Trevor Project, which, if you know anything about the Trevor Project, which we've talked about, it's for kids in crisis. It's a suicide hotline. And every 45 seconds, an LGBTQ plus youth tries to commit suicide. So it's really important that we support the Trevor Project, because they're dealing with kids at the front lines. So we had signs on the side that said, my name and Sutton's name and the Trevor Project. And I got 1,000 orange beads to toss out Mardi Gras style. And we rode in the parade, and people, yelled to us and waved, and we gave some interviews, and it was so fun. So we're going down, we're waving, we're doing all the things. And at one point, Cara Delevingne was in the parade also. We had seen her go by right before we turned onto Santa Monica Boulevard. And I don't know her, but I mean, like obsessed, right? I was like, oh, look, there's Cara Delevingne, whatever. Anyway, her car broke down. This convertible she was riding in broke down. So they had pulled over to the side of the road and we saw her and we called to her and she jumped in our car with us and rode with us like at the end of the parade. And she was like, oh my God, I love you guys. She was so cute. Oh my God, is she gorgeous? Wow. Stunning. So nice, so stunning. And it was great. So anyway, so then she jumped out, went back to her thing. And so we were done. And we were so it was me and Sutton, and we were with a bunch of guys. And we decided to go to the Waldorf. And, we didn't think, oh, we should go back in the cab of the car. Let's just stay on this untethered sofa that's in the back pickup truck. Like, what are we in high school? Talk about not wanting to do dangerous things anymore. And literally rode like that from West Hollywood to the Waldorf, which is like at the tip of Beverly Hills. Like, so stupid. Terry, what were you thinking?
Wow.
I guess I wasn't thinking, but it was really fun. And then we went up to the rooftop of the Waldorf in our beautiful Pride outfits and had a great meal. And it was so fun. So everyone that was with us, Jeremy and Tim and Brian, Sutton, I love you. That was so fun. We had such a great time. And I just want to say it was such a beautiful experience. It was so great seeing everyone's, t-shirts and flags and gear, get up and with their kids there. And it was just a beautiful day. And I just want to thank everyone that came out and that everyone that's supporting Pride. I want to give a shout out to the Fairmont Hotel that's near where I live. That's, they do these pretty lights on top of that hotel. It's like it's an historical landmark. It's this curved hotel. And right now they have a full-on rainbow going around the hotel. And it's just amazing. And thanks to all the big corporations that came out, like I was saying, United and Mattel and all these places. It's really beautiful to see the allyship, especially this year, especially when we need it. So having said that, I am going on vacation with Terry and some other couples. I may drip some content to you on social, so make sure you're following me at Heather Dubrow. And I will give you the whole rundown when I get back, I promise. But in the meantime, next couple of weeks, we're going to be running some best ofs. So if there's anything in particular you want to hear, let me know and we'll pull those up. And I hope everyone just has a great couple of weeks, and I'll see you when I get back.